Alec,
Yes.
welcome back. It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long road
It's
getting from there to
well,
here.
yeah, I guess so. It's been a couple of months since we did the first part of this video, which we had to break into because it was such a long one,
Mm,
where we were covering an article way back in January of the IGN's top 100 video games of all time list, which I thought was
very
worth
deep.
talking about because there's some pretty suspect choices. We saw a couple of them early on in the last list.
Yeah.
Uh,
99, Final Fantasy
Final
7.
Fantasy 7, and then I think GoldenEye was like 77 or
Yeah.
something.
Like,
And,
what?
and like their metrics, which they stated in the beginning, were what did they
Yeah,
say?
just as a refresher, their metrics that they said at the
They
beginning.
have to measure up to a few key metrics: how great a game it was when it launched, how fun it is to still play today, and how much the game reflects the best in its class. While past versions of this list have put a big emphasis on a game's impact and influence, we've essentially taken that out of the equation. Many games that left a mark and inspired future developers may not stand the test of time and be all that fun to play right now, or quite simply, they may have been surpassed by other games.
Like, GoldenEye 007, for
GoldenEye, which was like
example.
known for having an impact, an influence on the industry.
Massively,
Yeah,
massively so.
and that's why
But
it's
is
reviewed.
not very fun to play right now.
So interesting.
Mm.
So we can do a speed run. I'll do a speed run through recapping, so you know going into this list, like if you're wondering if it was on earlier or not, if you don't remember. So 100 Borderlands 2, 99 Divinity Original Sin 2, 98 Final Fantasy 7,
98.
97 Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, 96 Monkey Island 2, 95 Burnout 3 Takedown, 94 Fallout 2, 93 League of Legends, 92 Mega Man 3, 91 Animal Crossing New Horizons, 90 Thief 2, 89 SimCity 2000, 88 Inside, 87 Titanfall 2, 86 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, 85 Monster Hunter World, 84 Resident Evil 2 Remake, 83 System Shock 2, 82 Mortal Kombat 11, 81 Persona 5 Royal, 80 Dark Souls, 79 Fortnite, 78 Fable 2, 77 GoldenEye 007, 76 Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 75 Spelunky 2, 74 Return of the Obra Dinn, 73 Dota 2, 72 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 71 Donkey Kong, 70 The Sims 3, 69 Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, 68 Super Mario World 2, 67 Silent Hill 2, 66 Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, 65 XCOM 2, 64 Control, 63 Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, 62 Rise of the Tomb Raider, 61 Batman Arkham City, 60
Take a breath,
Dishonored
Zach. It's
2,
okay.
59 The Witness,
Ooh.
58 Journey, 57 Uncharted 2, 56 Overwatch, 55 Apex Legends, 54 Hollow Knight, 53 Miss Pac-Man, 52 Counter-Strike 1.6, and 51 Left 4 Dead 2.
Left 4 Dead 2.
Okay, that brings us
All
to
right.
the top 50.
Here we go. Top 50.
Oh my goodness. So this is where it could really get interesting. Okay, top 50. Anything we should be you think we should be on the lookout for?
Well, I'm curious. Okay, so we already had Final Fantasy 7, but it's like they're probably gonna throw Final Fantasy 6 in there. Probably gonna throw maybe Final Fantasy 10 will show up. It didn't show up already, did it?
No.
No. Maybe that one might show up too. Um, but I expect those. Um, Portal 2, Portal and Portal 2. At least one of those should show up probably.
Mm-hmm. Did we not get
Um,
either of those?
I can't remember. You ran through it so fast. I can't remember. My brain is mush, and I don't have the list up in front of me. You know what? I'm getting the list up in front of me right now.
No, I wanted to reveal it to you.
Oh no, well no. You can reveal it to me. I'm just getting it up to the list of where we are. That's all I'm caring about. 7. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not
it's
gonna
not
go.
there.
I'm not gonna go spoil it. It's not. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Um, I expect Bloodborne to be up in this list somewhere. We only have like Dark Souls 1, I think. But we don't have like Bloodborne. Metroid, some Metroid. There needs to be more Metroid. We don't have a whole lot of Metroid. So Metroid Prime, Super Metroid, both those need to show up. More Mario too, as well. There's gonna be not Mario 2, but like
Mario Bros 2.
Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2 should. I think that's a good game, but I don't think that should necessarily show up on this list.
All right. Well, we got a lot to get to. Yeah.
Breath of the Wild has to be really high up here. I'm expecting that to crack top 10, if not top 5. So.
All right. Well, let's see. Number 50 is Earthbound.
Oh, okay. Interesting choice.
A game that I still have yet to play, actually.
Same.
I had it on the Wii U, like chilling on there.
But I picked it up on the Wii U. Where else did I buy it? Did I buy it on my 3DS as well? I think I might have bought it on there. And then I have it, of course, on the Switch online.
My question for all these games now is, does it hold up now? I don't know. But
I played on emulation back in the day. I played a little bit of it, and I remember finding it very funny and very charming. I'm thinking that it sort of was holding up a lot as well. Oh, I also expect Chrono Trigger to show up. Maybe Chrono Cross. Maybe not Chrono Cross, but Chrono Trigger should show up as well. But a contemporary Earthbound, wacky, goofy, played with a lot of RPG tropes. Told a very off the wall, unconventional sort of story, but really good. It's all based on what I know about it and based on what I played of it, I can see why it's so beloved. I need to really sit down and play through the whole thing at some point. But
definitively the 50th best game of all time.
Definitively, according to IGN, is the 50th.
Number 49. Diablo 2.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, that type of game has never interested me, but like I've watched some of it. I watched the whole playthrough of it, but
yeah,
like not my. Those kind of games I could never really play. I don't think I'd be into them.
Yeah, I don't. I like elements of it. I picked up the Switch port of Diablo 3. But I just haven't gotten around to playing that. I don't even know if I'll ever play it, to be honest. I don't know if I'll find time to get around to it. There's elements of it that I like. I feel like if I got into it, I would probably enjoy it. But yeah, I'm almost a little bit with you. I kind of bought it on a whim, I think, because it was on sale, and I was like, oh, sure, I'll pick this up. But
number 48, StarCraft.
Oh, okay. Not StarCraft 2, but StarCraft, the original.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why is that?
I don't know.
But
RTS though, again, RTS not really my kind of game.
I will say, the fact that going to college and coming to the understanding that like all the Koreans I met at college, and they were like, yeah, this is like a sport. This is like a Korean national sport here, basically. And like, how I remember one guy was saying like, one of my floor mates was like, yeah, I'm no good. He's Korean. He was like, yeah, I'm no good at this game compared to them. But then if it would be like him versus other people, he would wipe the floor with like literally anyone else who played him. It's just like, it's very funny. But yeah, that was like my first introduction in the idea of esports was like watching people play StarCraft at college and being like, this is like, I feel like I'm behind the curve when I'm playing Age of Empires with my friends in high school, and I was like, hey, I get to the Iron Age, and they're like already in the Imperial, like the very end. Yeah. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, guys, just to let you know. So, but yeah, not really my game.
Yeah. And then next up on our little PC Legacy series, we have 47, which is World of Warcraft.
Sure. whatever. Whatever. I mean,
So.
my feelings towards Blizzard, as we sort of talked about in the last episode, are very complicated these days. I've never in college I had way more positive things to feel about World of Warcraft because I saw how much one of my roommates at the time and one of my best friends, how much they enjoyed it during that era. It was like the Mists of Pandaria era, which is like kind of a very beloved period of time in the game. For what I understand, it went quickly downhill after that. So, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, World of Warcraft is like, I mean, they're not talking about impact, but what an impact that had, huh? It's
yeah.
Like, you know what World of Warcraft is, regardless if you're into video games or not, you know?
For sure.
You see the impact of it.
Yeah, I don't know because I don't know. I'm kind of amazed that can even still be on here just because, like, I mean, Blizzard controversy aside, I mean, they've lost such a large amount of their player base because of the garbage that they've sort of had in the last games, taking features out.
Well, yeah, it's like, how do you judge that game, right? Because the game has been out for so long, and it's like an ongoing thing.
Yeah, it's kind of in a weird position where it's like when it came out it was great, and I think iteratively it became even greater. But then so many people say how not great it is these days. So losing their players to Final Fantasy 14 better be freaking on here. That's all I have to say. I don't even have a stake in it, but
okay.
But, you know.
Number 46 is Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Solid choice.
Another one I really want to play. I played a little bit of it, never got around to actually playing through it, but it's my kind of game. So
wonderful game. Yeah, I remember playing my brother's copy. He let me borrow it on PC, and I remember just being blown away by how good the like voice acting was, how good the story was. I had no idea what was going on in the combat or anything like that. And I came later, I realized when I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, I now realize how the gameplay in that works. It's literally like a real-time D&D combat. Because it's based on the Star Wars RPG at the time, which is a riff on D&D 3rd edition. So I feel like if I played it now, which I should probably go back and do that, I feel like I would understand the combat so much more and how to do everything. So
next up is 45, Fallout New Vegas.
Okay.
Did we have a Fallout game yet? We had Fallout 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was kind of like that's very. I remember being really confused by that because like I don't.
So now, like Fallout New Vegas, I never got around to playing, but I always, at the time, I remember hearing people say that Fallout 3 was better. Is that not true? If so, could we expect Fallout 3 to be on here too?
There's elements I think the reason people said that may have been there's elements of Fallout 3 that were probably executed better. Fallout New Vegas launched with like tons and tons of bugs because that's what Obsidian was always handed sequels, and then the turnaround time that they had expected was stupid for all of them. So it's the same thing that happened in Knights of the Old Republic 2. Obsidian get the sequel rights to that game, and they're like, yeah, you have to make this game in like a year. And they're like, okay. So yeah. Based on everyone that I've talked to, I think from what I understand, the reason that Fallout New Vegas has way more replayability in terms of like factions and stuff that you can join and do stuff with. The DLC, from what I understand, are also overall way better than anything in Fallout 3's. I think I don't know. Based on all my friends who've played the games, will generally come out and say that New Vegas is the better game. So okay. I don't know. I think at the time there was a little bit more leeway, but I think I think over time I've seen more of a positive uh, bent towards New Vegas. So
All right, so that's probably the highest Fallout then.
probably it'll probably be
Number 44, Final Fantasy VI.
that's a little lower than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be way higher than this, to be honest.
Now here's a. Do you predict that another Final Fantasy game being higher?
I don't know if they would do that. Maybe. I don't know what it would be though. 10 would be the only one I could think of. Like it's the only one that has like that. Maybe they would throw it to 9, but based on what I know about 9, I actually have hot takes about 9. I've never played it, admitted. I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it. I can't speak firsthand to it, but the stuff I know about 9, I'm like, I get that the characters are really beloved, but they do some very unusual and frankly stupid, very, very stupid things with the story in that game. So just quite frankly, but I don't know. I haven't played it, so I can't say, but that maybe has a possibility of being higher, but I don't. I'll be a little surprised if that's the case. Pardon me.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VI, I'm not very experienced in Final Fantasy myself, so I don't really have an opinion on that.
So my take of the game is I played through the first half of it like 3 or 4 times. I think for a long time I had the perspective that it's the best game. Because I think that's kind of what generally the best game in the series, because I think that's generally what a lot of people that were older than me kind of have that sort of positive feelings towards it. But to be perfectly honest, Final Fantasy VII is better than it in like pretty much every single regard. I think that 6 does a lot of extremely good things. I think that 7 just does all of them better. So, 6 is good for paving the way for what made 7 a masterpiece. I think 6 is its own achievement. But 7 to me, 7 is just so much better than it in almost every way that I can think of. So
I don't think so, because this is 54 spots higher than 557. That's a way better.
It
in
is.
The top 100
video
games of all time.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. And we're not even talking about impact, sir. It doesn't even factor in how they decided this.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something right now. How about the fact that the original Final Fantasy VI has like broken glitches, like there are whole status effects that just don't work. Blindness doesn't work. Darkness doesn't work. There's like whole attacks and things that just do not work. They do not calculate correctly.
Quirky, cute.
Hello?
Personality?
Well, personality through the sprite work, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous looking game. Some of the best. Chrono Trigger is really the only game I can think of that like actively tops it. But yeah.
Maybe
anyway,
I should have read we should have done this from the beginning. Read like a sentence from each of these blurbs.
Sentence, yeah. What does it say in 6? Is it like?
Well, it says Final Fantasy VI was a revelation. Its dark steampunk
was a revelation.
Was like nothing I'd ever seen before, and I loved how the heroes were more brooding and complex than their cheery predecessors. Let's say a bunch of things. Along with its incredible story and soundtrack, it also features a fantastic combat system with a whopping 14 playable characters. Final Fantasy VI is considered a milestone in the series, and with good reason. That's a blurb from Megan Sullivan.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does a lot of things that extremely well, and I think it does. I think a lot of the unique things that it does in terms of like sort of episodic storytelling, like character-based storytelling, was all really great and really new for the series. I just think that I think it's overrated. I don't like using that word, but I think to me the sort of, I know everyone will say that about Final Fantasy VII, but like to me, I think that just 7 just does everything that game does well better. So.
She also does say that the music affected her profoundly as well.
Oh yeah, the music's amazing.
What really sets Final Fantasy VI apart is its many iconic moments.
Yeah, there's no iconic moments in Final Fantasy VII. Not nearly as many.
I wonder what we should have read part of it.
I mean,
the blurbs, but
I mean, I will say there's no opera scene in Final Fantasy VII, but there's a motorbike chase.
She actually noted, she noted the opera scene as one of the
opera scene.
moments.
The opera scene is a landmark moment in games, I will say. But you've got the Shinra Tower attack, you've got the bike chase, you've got the freaking. There's like tons of it. There's going to the Gold Saucer the first time, the fireworks show, the moment of Final Fantasy VII. Gold I already said Gold Saucer, but no, Honeybee Inn. I mean, in the original game, all of these are like amazing. The whole wall market sequence is a game dungeon without fighting. It's brilliant. Final Fantasy VI didn't have that, and that's brilliant design. I think it's wonderful, but yeah. Anyway,
number 43 is Pokemon Yellow.
Specifically yellow version.
Specifically yellow.
I guess because it's the best version of Red and Blue, or it's the best version of that generation, and the fact that you can have Pikachu, and then you can get all the other Pokemon as well. I'm assuming you can get all the other starters in that game.
I mean, Pokemon Yellow is the one I grew up on, so that was like my childhood game. But I also find it interesting though. I just can't see how Pokemon Yellow is in here if you're again talking about what like it's been surpassed by other things, because it's been surpassed by other Pokemon games. So
it's been surpassed by its own remake.
Yeah, are there other Pokemon games in here, or
that talking about glitchy messes? Those early Pokemon games are. I think the phrase the fan base likes to use is they're held together by duct tape and dreams or something like that. Which is like, I mean, that's sort of unfair, but like they kind of are. They're kind of messy, broken games. That's maybe part of their charm, but like, yeah, Fire Red and Leaf Green are like they're great. They're great remakes of those games.
So
I can't go. You can hardly.
Here, but I wonder if any other Pokemon games would be in here.
I can hardly go back and play through Red again. It's like if I'm playing through that game, I'm playing through the Game Boy Advance remakes. Yeah. Because those games are so good. The remakes were so great. They did such a good job.
Well, I guess this is the same thing with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 they had on this list, and I was saying before, well, can you just do the remake instead?
The HD, 1 and 2 remake?
But
I don't know.
Not. So it's like we're not caring about impact, but we're also not. I guess they didn't want like to have HD remaster this version. So they just went with the original. But still, I mean, if you go in the series, are there not later Pokemon games in general that are just surpassed Pokemon
Ruby and Sapphire, or Emerald? Emerald is like cherished highly, as because of all the post-game content that game has, plus the entire Rayquaza story is freaking epic.
Is there a chance that any other Pokemon game is making an appearance in the top 42?
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I mean, if Gold and Silver show up, I'll be like, get out of here. I was like, I have extreme nostalgia. Those are my favorite Pokemon games. But I am not going to sit here and pretend that they're the best Pokemon games by any stretch of the imagination.
I mean, Heart Gold is great.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver are talking about remakes, phenomenal remakes.
Yeah.
My nostalgia for Gold and Silver are just that was like the time I was getting into Pokemon was when I played those. So like my nostalgia for those is just like so hard that like I understand that that's just my thing, because those talking about game design, boy, there's some real problems with Gold and Silver, let me tell you. But I love so much about what that game, the feel of that game, that sort of the vibe that I get from it is like, that to me is like what I love about that game. But I'm also someone that will sit here and be like, if that was on this list higher than that, I'd be like, get out of here. Black and White are way better designed games than that. Way better. Those games are the best Pokemon games. I'll sit here and say that. That might be a hot take, but Black and White are probably the best Pokemon games. So
okay. Blurb or no blurb? Do you want me to read that?
For that, there's maybe just like a sentence.
The first sentence is: before you can catch all 151 Pokemon Yellow first teaches you how to respect and care for the sometimes temperamental creatures.
No, it doesn't. What?
The game takes all the best elements from Pokemon Red and Blue and upgrades it to make it feel more like the anime. The best change to the originals, of course, was a Pikachu following you around in your journey. Suddenly, the Pokemon weren't just creatures you summoned for battle. They become emotional creatures that accompany you on your adventure. They're no longer just fighters you bring along. The small story elements that link Pokemon Yellow back to the anime were a fun way to let the player relive the beginning of Ash's journey, but ultimately, Pokemon Yellow is simply one of the best ways to experience the Pokemon universe. It's as simple as that.
But what does that even mean? Like, what does that last sentence mean? It's one of the best ways to experience the Pokemon universe.
I mean, I'm not gonna
give
the whole like.
But I'm just gonna give my nephew Sword and Shield, because what a perfect way to get into the Pokemon universe than the newest.
Pokemon. What do you
than the newest game?
Miranda Sanchez.
Yeah, Miranda.
Pokemon.
it's Pokemon. Yeah.
Number 42 is Metroid Prime.
Hey, there it is. Talking about masterpieces. Boom. It's better than Final Fantasy VI.
And I recently played that game because you challenged me to do so. Jen's challenge.
Wonderful game.
I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's, to me, that's one of those games that I didn't realize until I was in college, when I lent the copy that I had to my roommate at the time, and watching her play it was like, I was like, oh my God, this game is so good. I think it was then when I realized that, like, this is like one of my favorite games ever. This game is like, it's, yeah. So yeah, very, very, very high thoughts, high praise for Metroid Prime, for sure.
Here's what Samuel Claiborne had to say about it. Metroid Prime was gorgeous and fast, but it was also amazingly packed with detail. Birds, bugs, and other wildlife occupied the ruins of the game, while hieroglyphs and etchings revealed its history. Metroid Prime was also a lonely game. Metroid Prime dropped you into the Chozo ruins with no one to talk to. Exploring an alien planet solo is what the series is all about, and why the subsequent games with Space Marines and Hunters just didn't work as well.
Yeah, two had some more extra NPCs. There's the main, like, he was the guardian of that planet or whatever, was like, you gotta help us, there's a war between light and dark. And then the third game had all the hunters that you were dealing with, and yeah, I think there's an element of what made that game so special was the fact that you were so, the exploration is everything in that game, and it's so rewarding at that. Even if it's just like a little extra lore bits and stuff, filling out the world just feels so satisfying. Always get that little scan visor on. That better freaking show up in Metroid Prime 4. That's all I have to say. That scan visor is perfect. So,
all right. Number 41, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Talk about taking the world by storm again. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than Skyrim.
Yeah, at the time it was like the biggest game ever.
Yeah, literally. And I
remember being excited for it, even though, like, I had no interest in it at all. And I was excited about it. That's like me in Elden Ring, except I'm interested in Elden Ring. But
it's one of those games where, like, I didn't play much of it, but I truly get it. I mean, I get why it's loved so much, and I still would like to play through it. It's
music.
It does something that, like, no other game really did on that level.
Talking about music. That score, Jeremy Soul's score, it's so beautiful.
So Brandon Tyrell says, to me, everything about Skyrim was a vast improvement over its predecessor, Oblivion. The craggy, intimidating peaks of the Nord homeland and the saga of the Dovahkiin were much more interesting than the relatively sedate happenings of their neighbors in Cyrodiil. But what's more, there's so much lying just around the corner, off the beaten path, that you could never even stumble upon it in 100 hours as a Dragonborn. But the fact that such care for detail, for world building, for exploration, for immersion was paid to every tomb, tome, and quest is enough to cement Skyrim as one of the absolute best role-playing games we've ever seen, and one of the best games of all time. Number 40, Resident Evil 4.
Hey, great game.
I haven't played a lot of, like, the best games of all time.
These are really, so a lot of these ones in here are the sort of like GameCube and PS2 generation. This is like when 3D, this is like what the Super Nintendo was to the NES, right? It's like developers understanding now the limitations, but they now have a little bit more to work with, and they're able to more masterfully craft a game in 3 dimensions, and like that is what this generation was all about. And I like that's why there's so many stone cold classic like Metroid Prime, like Resident Evil 4. You know, you've got these classics like that because of the extra experience, I think, and just extremely creative people.
Yeah. With a perfect blend of atmosphere, action, and story, Resident Evil 4 totally redefined the third-person shooter, and it features some incredible set pieces like battling against chainsaw-wielding maniacs, giant men, giant fish, tiny men in Napoleon costumes, and medium-sized centipede men. RE4 unlocked the true potential of the series in a way that hasn't been matched before or since, and will probably always be the most universally beloved Resident Evil title.
It's so good. I'm thinking, all those moments I knew, like I could think of, like every single moment just stands out. The game has so many great set pieces. It's just such a good like flow, like a sort of arc in terms of like different settings and everything. It just everything just so well. It really does have a great pacing. It's I want to play it again now that you just said that.
Number 39 is Shadow of the Colossus.
Hey, this is definitely high on my list too.
It is.
I love this game very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Few games have ever inspired the same sense of awe that Shadow of the Colossus does within its first 10 minutes. Climbing that first ledge and coming face to face with the first Colossus is among the most impactful and also terrifying and almost terrifying experiences in all of gaming. From its beautiful crumbling ruins to the hulking ancient colossi, the sun-soaked action-adventure game is drenched in a muted, melancholy aesthetic that has become synonymous with his admittedly limited works. Part love story, part monster hunt, part parable, Shadow of the Colossus borrows heavily from what came before, but inspires much of what came after. Zach Ryan.
It's a very much like everything that studio did before and did since, with Eco and then The Last Guardian. Very artistic storytelling. I would say defined what the indie storytelling was, especially Eco. Eco, you go back and play that game, that is like one of the earliest examples I can think of like, this is an indie game. It's extremely bare bones plot, very limited storytelling, there's like no dialogue. But you're still impacted by the simplicity of the story and the beauty of the story and what they're able to sort of communicate through that. Shadow of the Colossus also has more of a script than Eco did, but it's still very limited. You get hints of what's going on, but there's never any. It's not very vague intentionally. And it's again all about the awe, the majesty of the exploration, and then coming across these massive beasts that you then fight around their homes, basically these huge arenas that they've designed, and it's just so good. It's such a good game.
Mm-hmm.
It's very. I mean, there's not much more else I could say about it. You know, you just gotta experience it. You know.
I still want to play that one too.
Yeah. Is it the PS4 remake is very good. I highly recommend it.
Okay, cool. All right, number 38, The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So does that mean we'll see The Last of Us later?
I would think so. Maybe.
Probably. I mean, I feel like
probably, yeah. This is
publications see The Last of Us super highly too.
Yeah.
What did you think of Part 2?
I didn't get very far in Part 2, and the reason why is I'm going to blame my housemate on this, because I played through The Last of Us Part 1, and again, to get sort of in preparation for it. Took a little time. I didn't start it right away, but then I started Last of Us Part 2, and I was really enjoying it. And then the moment happens, and I wasn't mad, unlike most of what everyone else was. Apparently, who played it was really upset about it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. I was like, this is really interesting, and I'm very interested in seeing where they go from this, because there's a lot of potential in where they're going from here. And my problem was my housemate said something that I was like, why would you say that to me? It was basically like, well, that's it. They're either going to have to completely nail it, or if they're not absolutely perfect in terms of what they do, then they've totally blown it. And I was like, why would you say that to me? I was like, why would you ever say something like that to me? Because it's basically like, it was him being like, if they don't successfully like make the story perfect from here on out, will have failed horribly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't want to. Basically, it was like giving me an expectation, and I was like, I don't want to have expectations. I just want to play the game and enjoy the story. Maybe not enjoy the story. I don't know. I don't know how it ends or how it went further. So I just stopped playing it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gone back to it since. I think this summer will probably be. I feel like will probably be a good time for me to go through it. I feel like maybe I've given it enough time that I'm back to sort of like the square one of I don't have expectations about it. So, but we'll see.
I mean, Lucy O'Brien calls it a masterpiece. So
yeah, well, a lot of people did. A lot of people also didn't like it. So
divisive.
It was a divisive game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see that in a part 2.
Mm.
Number 37, Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
No, I really like Red Dead Redemption a lot.
Mm.
I played a lot of the online actually at the time.
Really? Oh.
It was a lot of fun playing. I would just play with random people online. I would find them. We would hook up on there, but I also would play with my friend a lot too, and that was fun. I mean, I just think it's such a cool concept for an open world game to be like the Wild West.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And apparently, they've been really dropping the ball with Red Dead 2's online, I guess, from what I understand. Yeah. It's just because they haven't been doing any updates for it, pretty much.
But Red Dead 2 is seen very highly too. So
it is extreme. I watched my dad. My dad played through that game, if you can believe it. My dad played through that game because he loves westerns, and I don't think I'd seen my dad emotionally affected by a video game before, but I did when he played that game. And I was like, wow, that's something special when my dad gets moved by a video game. I cry about everything. I cry all the time, but like seeing my dad get, I wouldn't say like crying, but like being moved by the story of a video game, that's special. So, yeah.
I want to play that too. Like my brother got it for, I think it was my birthday or Christmas a while ago, and I've yet to play it. Because I always wanted to play through the first one too, but I never went through the whole story. I was more focused on the multiplayer at the time.
I watched my brother play some of the first one back when he was living at home, and then I watched him play some of Undead Nightmare, which was hilarious. Mm-hmm. I thought that was hysterical. So yeah, I want to play through this at some point. I definitely love because I've never been like a GTA person, but like I really like the West vibe. That's always been like a cool kind of somewhat untouched territory in terms of like a lot of video games. There's not like a ton of them. Maybe back more in like the 80s there was a little bit more of that, but not so much anymore. So it's definitely something I want to give a shot.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely deserves to be up on this list. Number 36, Metal Gear Solid.
Okay, the PS1 version, I would assume.
Yeah.
So I've only ever played the remake. I never played the PS1 version. I only played the Twin Snakes.
Yeah.
Which people hate for some reason, but I thought was amazing. So, whatever.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I haven't played much. I remember like playing for very little bit, and then we just never went through it. But yeah,
it's good stuff.
Does it hold up today though? Metal Gear Solid, the original.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. Maybe I should give that a shot sometime. I should play the original. I still have I still have the Twin Snakes. I still own it, which is good, I guess, because it's apparently quite expensive from what I understand. That's kind of a collector's item.
Mm.
I should try to give the first one a shot at some point. See how it holds up. But
number 35, Sid Meier's Civilization 4.
Civ 4. Baba Yetu.
Sure.
Baba Yetu Yaturi Zinguri Yetu Yaturi. Have you never heard that? That was like an Emmy award winning, or like even like a Grammy, I think. It was like the first piece of video game music to win a Grammy. Which was the song that was written for Civ 4. So
wow.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great song. So
and Civ 4, I mean, the whole series is another one where I've just never. It's been out of my realm. I mean, PC in general, I missed out on a lot of all these big games on here.
Yeah, Civ 6 also has really good music too. But
number 34 is one that I've heard of, and that is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I've heard of that game. Yeah, I guess you could.
Number 34 on the list.
I'm honestly a little surprised it's this high. Actually, yeah? I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, considering some of the other games that are like below it.
Well, they gotta. If they were going based on their standard, I mean, they're just not consistent with their metrics. It seems.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because this was talking about big releases. This was like one of the biggest releases of all time when it came out. It was like, it's generally still, there are people that still hail it as one of the greatest games ever made. I mean, I would still say there's elements of it being one of the greatest games ever made stands to a point. I think in terms of but with that you have to think of legacy. You have to think of the time in which it was made.
Yeah.
Because like today's metrics, no, it doesn't really stand up in a lot of ways.
When you think of legacy, this is always in the top like 5.
Yeah.
Like, of lists.
Yeah, and deservedly so, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite games ever. This is like this game was like, it was such a big deal to me growing up. So yeah, I was doing randomizer runs of this a few months ago, because just for fun, because it was like I was just looking for a new way to play it, because it's been so long since I played it. But I was like, I'm extremely familiar with this. I was watching Pro Jared do randomizer of Ocarina of Time, but the problem with is that he hadn't played it since he was like a teenager, so he was like so unfamiliar with it. And I was like, oh my god, why? It's like I was like, I've never done a randomizer of this, but I know tons of places you can be checking right now, because I know that game pretty well. I don't know like an expert, but I know the game fairly well. I know where you can find most everything. So yeah, I was just like, it was so like, I was like, man, I could be doing so much better at this randomizer than you did. So I did one of my own, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a decent amount of it. Most of my experience from this game, and when I was first exposed to it, was early on, and like when I was getting into the retro gaming, like collecting in that community and stuff. And when I was getting into watching Let's Plays, because it was like one of those really highly Let's Played games, like up there with Super Mario Sunshine, where like all the Let's Players would do Let's Plays of it. Was like the go-to.
Yeah.
So I had watched tons of playthroughs of it, and so I mean, I understand.
Yeah,
it's not one of my
sense.
personal favorite games of all time, but I get it.
It's half my namesake right there, kind of, because of that game. But
number 33 is Minecraft.
Okay.
This is an interesting place to put it. It's like I don't know how you wind up on 33 exactly for Minecraft.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I could see it. I could see it in top 10 easily.
Yeah, I mean, even just like thinking about it, it's like it's a game that's like it's never become irrelevant. Which is, I mean, it's only really been out like maybe just over 10 years, but like it's interesting to see the game go through ups and downs. I would say in terms of like relevance where it's like it seems like it's going quiet for a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, you'll start seeing it everywhere again.
And I mean, it fosters entire communities based on this, and
Yeah.
freaking children are crazy about it still.
Well, it's like Pokemon in a way. There's always going to be new kids. There's always going to be people interested in Lego type things, which that's, I think, part of the appeal of Minecraft is it inspires creativity because of the sort of voxel style brick kind of concept of graphics. So it's definitely I mean, it made whole YouTube careers from
there's
from
a whole
Minecraft.
freaking section of YouTube that's all Minecraft.
Yeah.
You are a Minecraft YouTuber. I mean, there are literally channels that are directed at kids specifically that just do Minecraft videos. Super colorful thumbnails and all this, and like my nephew watches some of them too. I'm like, oh god. These guys are so cringy, but okay.
Oh yeah, there was a house I was in the other day where there was a kid. There was a little boy that was watching Minecraft videos on the TV in the living room. I was like, wow. That's it definitely it's always I think going to be present, going to be relevant. Well, one thing I've noticed too, obviously with my interests, is that VTubers are huge. VTubers are massive into Minecraft. A lot of them play Minecraft a lot. I mean, it's like they'll go off it for a while, but then it's like, yeah, I'll hop back on. We're gonna build some more stuff in Minecraft. It's like it's because they all have shared servers and stuff. So it's like, it's an easy game for them to just chill out, relax, get in a voice chat, talk with other people, talk with chat, and then you talk about whatever. You don't have to talk about anything other than whatever comes to mind, So
yeah. I mean, it really is a brilliant game. No game is come close to accomplishing what is accomplished in like it's like its own genre. It's in terms of impact, obviously it's above and beyond so many of these games, but
yeah, I mean, also, impact alone, I would almost put it above like most of these games. Like,
and just like, as a game itself, it's like they perfectly did it with like, they managed to pull it off with this blocky art style. It's like just enough charm to make it work, and it allows people to, there's the whole survival aspect of it, and then there's the whole creative aspect of it. So there's a lot of depth to it actually.
There's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot of different ways you can play the game. There's a lot of different things you can set out to accomplish. It appeals in a lot of different ways to a lot of different people. I think that is definitely part of the charm. In that it's
you're essentially giving players like no limitations. It's like you can create your own games within this game. You can
people have
challenges and
like
all
the freaking Pokemon mods. Pixelmon. You can straight up play Pokemon in Minecraft. It's like stuff like that's awesome. There was one talking about VTubers. There was one that was like that they went to Disney World in Florida. They just went to Disney World because someone's made the entirety of Disney World in there with games and stuff, with all the basically all the rides and games. Wow. It's incredible. It's amazing what people have been able to do with Minecraft.
And I never really had a group, like, I always would have loved to have like a group of friends to play this with, just like have your own world and just.
I was bummed out because like my computer in college wasn't good enough to run it.
Yeah. So
I couldn't really play it with anybody, and that always kind of bummed me out. Because there'd be times where the whole floor was just on a server and just like goofing around in Minecraft. I was like, man, I really wish I had a computer that could run it.
Yeah, same. I missed the whole wave on that. Like playing with a couple of friends in school would have been cool. I mean, they played all the time. We always talked about it. And then even like online, it's a cool way to have like you can meet up and have this world online too. Yeah, there's so many endless possibilities. That's the thing I always love doing in video games is making games within the game too. Making your own fun out of it. So yeah. Number 32 is Halo Combat Evolved.
Classic.
The first Halo, though?
First Halo. Yeah, I can see that. It's interesting it's this one and not Anniversary. which because Halo Anniversary, if you just press a button, it literally just is Halo 1 again.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
but aren't
that's
Halo 2 and 3
game.
both seen as better?
No. Some people will say there's elements of 2 and 3 I think that are improved from Halo 1, but in terms of like general level design, feel, pacing, everything about Halo 1 is like a masterclass. 2 has like some things that are a little iffy. 3, same sort of thing. I think the vast improvements in those games are typically seen as multiplayer. The advancements in multiplayer on those games is generally regarded as extremely high, especially Halo 3. Mm. But I think in terms of like the best game in terms of design overall, I think is still generally regarded as the first game.
So you don't think another Halo game will be on here?
Probably not. I would say, in fact, almost certainly not. The 343 games have not really lived up to snuff. 4 and 5 Guardians not seen in nearly as positive light. Infinite has been doing quite well, but I think the problem with that game right now is the fact that there's just no content. They have delayed like 2 different. They've delayed they've delayed patches because they're waiting for like season 2 of the game to start. And there just hasn't been much to shake up the sandbox of the game at all. So everyone's waiting for that. That's got to really rescue the game ultimately. But in any case, yeah, I think you talk to most people. I think people will say really positive things about 2. But I think when it comes at the end of the day, I think probably most people would say that Combat Evolved is still the best.
It's interesting because as someone who didn't grow up on Halo,
mm-hmm.
Halo 3 especially is like still feels very nostalgic to me because I like, grew up around so many people who were always playing it, and like I would like go over to my friend's house and like in the basement or like we have a setup for a LAN party. Play Halo 3.
Well, Halo 3's like I said, Halo 3's multiplayer is probably the best. I think that's probably the like bar none the best. In terms of an overall game, I'm thinking of like campaigns particularly, as well as it has maps that are still beloved to this day. Is still Halo 1, but Halo 3's multiplayer is basically been second to none. Yeah,
just like it's such an impact.
Yeah,
again, it's like one of those.
Yeah, impact.
Number 31 is Half-Life.
The original Half-Life. Was Half-Life 2 wasn't on this list yet, has it been?
No.
That's got to show up. I've never played this game, so.
Yeah, I've never played that either.
I know when I was in college, there was a mod for this game called Black Mesa, which was basically a remake of it. That like updated everything, like all the graphics and stuff were like all made super really nice and modern. I think that was like it was like a fan mod, and I think Valve like was like gave the thumbs up to it, like for them to produce it and release it. So
number 30 is Final Fantasy 14.
Okay. It should be on here.
Yeah.
Definitely modern. It's a modern masterpiece. That's what everybody says. All the new expansions and everything. Yeah. Shadowbringers, Shadowheart, Shadowbringers.
Sure.
Shadowbringers was.
It's so weird because
and then Endwalker.
MMORPGs is like a whole other world. Like I knew nothing about any of these games like that are out right now. Like I guess it's good, probably.
Yeah.
But even though I loved MMOs growing up, but again, I never had a PC that was good enough to play really good ones. So I would play like free to play MMOs, that kind of stuff. I'd play RuneScape,
MapleStory.
I'd play stuff like that.
MapleStory? Did you ever play MapleStory?
I never. Some of my friends did. I never really got into MapleStory.
that was one that one of my friends in college used to play.
But it's always on the lookout. There was like an anime MMORPG I started playing called like Mabinogi. It was a free to play one. Mabinogi.
The Mabinogian.
That's Mabinogi.
Mabinogi. That's that's like based on a Celtic thing. The Mabinogian is like a Celtic book, basically, or like a Celtic thing.
Like the idea of like an anime MMO was really interesting to me too. I don't know. I always wished I could play these games because I was like, I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these like ones I missed out on in another life would have been able to really thrive in them. But I feel like it's too late now for me to get into MMOs. You know?
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is a little late. That's my problem because like, and that's what my friend who plays Final Fantasy 14 online says is like, it is the best game I've ever played that I can't recommend to anybody because it's like MMOs are a time commitment. So, I mean, I play Destiny. Destiny is my lifestyle game. You know, that's like my thing. I don't think I can't possibly make room for that in another.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it because like I really want to play Genshin Impact so badly, but I just
and I downloaded that too. Like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna play this one.
I want to play it so badly, but like I just I know it's a lot. It's a gacha game, so it's a time sink, and it's going to be one. So I got to find time when I'm not playing Destiny to do that. But it's other games, man. There's other games I want to play.
They're different beasts, man. MMOs.
Mm.
Number 29 is Doom.
OG Doom.
OG Doom.
Yeah, great game.
Great game. Good. Number 28, Tetris.
Okay.
Now, I don't see how in the world you can get Tetris to 28. Like, how do you get 27 games in front of Tetris? Is the challenging thing to happen in my brain.
Really?
To say that 27 games are better than Tetris. Tetris is objectively the best video game ever made.
That's like the most casual thing. That's like the most casual. Like, and I'm not saying that is the most reductive thing in the world, but like, yeah, it's a pretty spectacular game in terms of like, it's a perfect little puzzle game.
But can you tell me, it's like,
but
how do you compare this to whatever the next game is? It's like,
yeah, it's true. It's like, it's hard to even compare Tetris because Tetris is like the mother of all puzzle games, basically.
Yeah.
Like every game that you see is basically like some form of Tetris. Like even a match 3 or a match 4 game. Think about it. It's like, what are you doing? You're eliminating blocks. You're eliminating things on a grid.
So Tetris couldn't have done Tetris better in like in that style, So it's almost like this is the best of puzzle games. So if you're saying that the best of puzzle games can only get to number 28, I guess, but then that's a testament to the genre, I guess. But
I will say I do like seeing what the variations they've done with Tetris over the years. There was a game that came out, Tetris Worlds, I think it was, where there was like 6 different varieties of Tetris. I remember my dad used to play because my dad is a huge Tetris fan. My dad used to play, and Dr. Mario as well. But my dad used to play that. That was like the GameCube Tetris game.
Right.
And I remember there was like Fusion Tetris, and there was like there was like a whole bunch of different varieties. There was like standard Tetris, like old school Tetris. Then there was the new Tetris variety, which the new Tetris was this N64 game that introduced 4x4s. So if you were able to form a 4x4 with like perfectly with the blocks, you could form like special bricks, like silver and gold special bricks, and you could get like huge combo points from building those. Music in the new Tetris was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like those are great, but it's like it's still everyone's very fixated on the Tetris, classic Tetris.
Yeah, I mean, I had a huge Tetris kick a few years ago, where I got really into it. I'm pretty good at it, I consider myself. And then we played my family was all into it too. We played Tetris Party Deluxe on Wii.
Oh,
So
nice.
that controller is kind of really good for Tetris. The
Well,
Wii remote sideways.
I just remember Tetris 99. That's a
Right.
huge thing. That's a big deal, right?
But like in the Tetris Party, you had items and you could like send things to each other, and to make it give them disadvantages and whatnot. So that was kind of fun, wacky.
That's the element of 99 they kind of have, but you can't really.
Yeah. Where if
It's
you
not as
send
predictable.
Tetrises to each other and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I mean, they've done cool stuff with it. But I just think, Tetris is like the closest you can get to saying something is a perfect game. But again, that's in the nature. I just don't think there's probably not a puzzle game higher than this on the list, right?
I don't know how you could come up with one, honestly. Like
maybe Crosswords DS.
maybe
Crosswords
maybe Picross.
Yeah, I don't think so. But we'll see.
No.
Number 27, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater.
I was gonna be like, this is probably gonna be up there. This is usually regarded as the best of the MGS games. So
the only thing I know about it is the Snake Eater song,
yeah.
and I love that song.
Such a good song, such a phenomenal song. I actually read a really great article about the woman who sang that.
Yeah,
it was really great because like she basically disappeared. So, but it was like the quest of the article writer to find her, and he did. It's a great article. I highly recommend. Just like look up like Metal Gear Solid, like Snake Eater singer, like where is she or something like that. Just like Google something like that. Great article. She also sang. She was also the female part in "I Am the Wind," which was the awful, awful, awful song. And it's not actually an awful song. It just doesn't fit at all. But it's the song in the original version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which that better show up on this list. But it's like a pop. It's like a freaking pop song, like a '90s love ballad at the end of that game, which just does not fit at all. But yeah, and her performance in that is amazing. Like she's a wonderful singer. That song is just weird, and why is it in that game?
So my friend's a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, and I know he loves this game. I remember I found like this big old poster. It was not like exactly a poster. It was like it's like a solid thing, but shaped like a poster. I don't know how you describe it. It's like almost
like a
you get like it's hard.
Oh, like a steel book or something, or like
not
a canvas,
steel,
or
a canvas-esque.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it. It's almost plastic, but like a poster.
Oh, okay.
But I got that for him one time.
Nice.
Yeah, I just haven't even touched Metal Gear Solid as a series.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, not much for me either.
Number 26 is Half-Life Alyx.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
The VR game.
The VR game? Really? That's a weird pick.
Out of
Because
nowhere.
like almost nobody's going to be playing that. Like
well, it is
how
better
many
than
people
Tetris.
how many people how many people have played that game? Like I'm honestly really curious because like
they know they're in the industry.
It's so restrictive. Like I don't even know a single person that owns a VR rig.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. I mean, VR. They say VR is still a relatively young medium, and while plenty of games had already showed off its exciting potential, none of them had actually harnessed it so completely before Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah, I know it's supposed to be like an excellent showcase of like how a game, like how you can actually make a real game and not just like a small little like tech demo-ish thing or like Beat Saber. It's like very specific kind of niches with VR. Where like this was like a full-fledged game. I get that. That's great and all. The problem with VR though is just like there's so many hurdles you got to cross with VR that I don't think it's ever going to be as mainstream as a lot of people think it will be. Because there's two, maybe three things. There's two things off the top of my head I can think of that are restrictive. One, probably the most important thing. VR makes people really feel VR gives people motion sickness.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people. Like more people than should for it to be successful, to be like a successful product. I think it's too, because even people who say, "Oh, I don't really get motion sickness from it, but I do if I play it too long." Like that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem with your product. I mean, and it's not like a problem in the sense that like that's their fault. It's just like that's just the nature of VR. Like when you're strapping something onto, it's just the way your brain works. You're tricking your brain into moving, but like your body can feel that it's not moving, and that's going to give you motion sickness, you know? So number 2 is space.
Mm-hmm.
People don't have a lot of space for those. You have to have dedicated space for those. And there's some people do, some people have that, but like every house that I've been into where people have like VR headsets, they have their HTC Vive or they've got their PSVR. They have like a dedicated space to that. You can't like have your rig with your usually in your TV room because you're gonna whack into stuff, you know. So it's like, yeah, those are like always the 2 things that I'm like, they're the hurdles that you, as a developer for them. I don't even know how you can't really combat them, really.
But I mean, so it's interesting that Half-Life Alyx is the 26th best video game of all time.
According to them, yeah.
That's crazy. Number 25 is God of War.
Okay. Is
that
new
one? Yeah.
The new one? Oh, okay. Oh, I probably would. I almost put it higher. It was phenomenal. Revelation.
I really want to play it still. I haven't played it.
Very much looking forward to the new one, which I've heard precious little about actually recently. I don't even think I've heard it mentioned in like 6 months or something. So
I'm so out of like the biggest AAA games in recent years. Of like I haven't played any of them yet. You know, The Last of Us, God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man, all these big ones. Yeah. So I have some catching up to do. Number 24 is Chrono Trigger. How do you feel? Number 24.
Put it higher. I demand to see what other RPGs you put above this. I'm interested in seeing what RPGs go above this, and I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
So.
I thought Chrono Trigger was great. I played it only like a year or 2 ago now for a Gents challenge. So
the thing that makes Chrono Trigger so great is there are a lot of things. It takes everything that's great about RPGs, distills it down into a digestible package. Phenomenal pacing. You cannot find an RPG that's better paced than this game. There's like no fat in this game. It's like perfectly paced. It has excellent iteration and new ideas in terms of its battle system. Getting able to combo like different techs and stuff with like teaming up. That was all really, really awesome. They did such a cool job with that. The story with its time travel mechanics, excellently done. A lot of the themes and stuff it was exploring had kind of been done before in some aspects, but it was done in such a way that it'd never been done as charming or as well depicted, thanks to probably, I would say, the best pixel art of its era. It is just perfectly captures Akira Toriyama's art in the best way. There are fewer games that have had as much of an impact on me. Definitely is one of my. I'd probably put it higher than even this, but I'm glad it cracked the top 25, so that's something.
But yeah, we'll have to see what ones come next. What
RPGs come next. That's what I'm going to be interested in.
There's still a bunch of games up here. Number 23 is Portal.
Okay.
This is a triumph.
Is that what they say?
No.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Great game.
Making a note here, huge success.
It's a triumph. Yeah.
It's hard to overstate my satisfaction.
I was hoping that That was why I was hoping that it was on that's what they started with. This is a triumph. This game, I'm making a note here. It's
it
a
is a
huge success.
brilliant game, right? Like, oh,
Yeah,
it's a puzzle game.
it is a puzzle game. Is it more perfect than Tetris? I don't know.
Already past Tetris.
It is a it is a pretty perfect little game. I
Yeah.
can't really find any major faults with this game either.
But 1-to-1, is it better than Tetris? Let's put your
according
feet
to
to the fire.
according to this list, it is. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't think so, but because I don't think so because Tetris you can play is so much more replay value, right? Portal is it just like a small, fun little experience.
Yeah. Oh,
Especially
hold
the
on.
original.
Hold on. There's a lot of replay value in Portal.
Why?
There's a lot of replay value in Portal. Going faster? Yeah. The
Going
whole point
fast.
is like, it's going faster, but like figuring out different ways to get through the levels. Like there is a lot of potential in that. Like I had friends in college that would speed run this game in classes. They'd work on getting through because like you could beat it in under an hour. So they would do that.
But you could say that about any game. Speed
Yeah,
running.
but it's Portal.
Sure, good point.
Yeah,
but
wow,
it is brilliant. It is really just a brilliant thing, like just apply a portal to each trigger, boom, boom, and it's a brilliant mechanic, and it just lends itself to so many really creative designs for a puzzle game. Brilliant.
I think Portal 2 is even better, personally. I don't know if that's a hot
Do you
take.
think that'll be higher on the list?
I don't know if they'll throw it on here, but it should be. I think it should be.
I don't think that's a hot take, right? Most people see Portal 2 as better.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing that I never was able to get through all the way through the co-op. I've always wanted to do that, and I've never been able to do co-op with somebody in that game. That's been something I've wanted to do for a long time.
I'll play it with you.
But yay, we should do that.
I think I played Portal 2. I forget how much I played, but I think I did play some of the co-op with my brother. I don't know if I played all of it, though. It was a while ago. Years ago. 22 is Street Fighter 2.
Just base Street Fighter 2?
Yeah. There ain't no way that's the best one, right? There's Street Fighter 2 Ultra Super Turbo Championship Edition.
Street Fighter 2, the World Warriors, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition, Super Street Fighter 2 Street Fighter 2 Championship
Edition. Just being dishonest, and
now they're just being stupid. You cannot respect. No respect.
God, they said in their metrics that they've been surpassed by games. It's literally been surpassed by its own self.
Yeah, multiple times.
They just didn't want to have the special editions of every game. I guess that's just what they wanted to simplify it. So then it's like, but they did Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They didn't make it Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, it's interesting that this is the one. I mean, Street Fighter 2 this is the not high water mark. This is the landmark title that opened the floodgates for fighting games being a thing. Mm-hmm. So I understand that, but like it was been outdone by itself. Like we said, the hyper fighting, Street Fighter 2 hyper fighting, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition. Like, yeah, there's like a bunch of different freaking versions of this game.
And I mean, for me again, this is another genre that I'm not really very experienced in fighting games. Aside from Smash Bros, the traditional fighting games, I'm not really.
Traditional fighting games are to me, I like learning about them. I like playing them. I'm never going to be good at them. They are probably more entertaining for me to experience, so I know when I'm watching them, kind of like how to like getting at. Like the closest I've in a traditional fighting game, closest I've worked at getting really good at a game is Dead or Alive. When Dead or Alive 5 came out, I got like really big into like learning that game. But I mean that was 10 years ago now, so you know I'm rusty.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. Street Fighter 2, iconic.
The iconic Street Fighter 2.
Number 21 is Super Mario Bros.
Okay.
The original. I mean, it's excellent, right? It's
Yeah.
excellent, and it's still excellent to this day, right?
It's kind of a perfect little game.
But we do have to, if we see this, we have to see Super Mario Bros. 3 much higher, right? You have to see Super Mario World.
3 and World need to be up higher than this, right? You'd think. They're
if they're not total cocklords, yeah.
They
have to be up there.
Yeah, get cucked, all right? So
but Super Mario Bros. I mean, it's one of those things where it actually does still hold up. You know?
It does hold up. It still works as a game. It's still fun to play. I had my little Game & Watch Mini. I was working on that. I need to go back and continue working on that. But I was working on trying to play through and beat, because I've beaten Super Mario Brothers before, but I've only done it by warping. So I would want to beat the game by playing through every single level. Playing through every single level to get to the end. Because I think that's a good challenge. Because that game is hard.
It is.
Like there's no bones about it. That game is a hard game. So I want to do that at some point. I do love Mario very much, as I'm wearing a Boo sweatshirt.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Oh, Boo. So
the Mario shirt.
Yeah. What universe is this? These are jellyfish. These are jellyfish, actually. Jellyfishing.
I know we're not judging it on impact, but is there any other game that has had more impact than Super Mario Bros.? I wonder.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm gonna say Pong.
Pong. You ever heard of Heinz?
You ever heard of football?
Never heard of. You ever heard of chess? All right. Ever heard of checkers? All right. Talking
about Super Mario Bros. Would be nothing without chess.
Nothing at all.
People didn't even know what games were before they picked up the ball in a cup.
the kendama.
Good times with that game. Number 20 is Undertale.
Wait, this is above Earthbound? I'm sorry, what?
Megalovania. Q Megalovania.
Oh, overrated crap.
This is above Super Mario Bros.
I'm like,
it's better than Tetris. It's better.
I'm not gonna say Megalovania is crap, but it is not. It's probably the worst battle theme in that whole game, and I haven't even played that game.
It's
very. It's that's. No, it's not even the best. It's not even close to the best piece of music in that game.
But it's probably what got it to number 20, right?
Yeah. Solely Megalovania alone.
Undertale is jam-packed with emotion, charm, and determination to show that your actions make a difference, no matter how small you think they may be.
Okay, cool.
Miranda Sanchez.
This is Miranda Cosmo. Okay, so it's an RPG that's above Chrono Trigger. Well, this is above.
Kill him.
Chrono Trigger. This is above Earthbound, the game that it was inspired from.
Ooh, get cocked to Earthbound because you got surpassed Earthbound. That's how
it's baby. Way better. It's like freaking 20 games better than.
I'm just realizing now how I know Undertale obviously is a huge phenomenon, but I actually know nothing about the game itself. Like we never really.
I played like maybe an hour of it, and I was like, this is gonna be really fun when I finally get around to actually playing it someday. I own a couple different physical versions of it. It seems like a game that I'd really like. But I feel like I don't know. It's like one of those things where it's like I will say the community behind Undertale a little scary. How passionate it's maybe not as like they are more like the internet generation, whereas like Earthbound fans predate the internet. So like a lot of Earthbound fans are a lot less like cringe, but like Undertale is like omega cringe in terms of
there are cringers. There are cringers in all these games, huh?
Yeah.
There's
where's freaking Kingdom Hearts? We're talking about cringe.
We had Fortnite earlier.
Love that series, but
we had
Fortnite. Freaking Ariana Grande concert. When's the next one? There's the new Star Wars lore, the Palpatine lore drops.
Yeah, I mean, there's some cringe in the Minecrafters. It's
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
well I mean everything does, but the Undertales are of the world
But
are a lot.
can we blame the game itself? Do you blame the game itself? They
No,
should have known
I don't.
better
No, I don't. I do not blame the
when they
game
made
itself. No, I don't. I just blame the internet,
the
which
game
corrupts all.
fosters these kinds of people.
I mean, kind of. I could kind of say that. It'd be accurate.
Number
No,
19.
I want to give it at some point.
Yeah.
I want to give it a shot at some point.
Yeah.
I know it's actually not very long. From what I understand, it's maybe only like for like one playthrough is it's only like 10 hours, 12 hours or something like that. So
Okay. Number 19, Bloodborne.
hey, at least Bloodborne beats Undertale. That's good. That game's talking about. Holy crap, that game is so good. I mean, beating that game, I'm awed every time I play that game at how good it is.
People love these games, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Number 18.
Wow, that's all we're talking about it. Number 18.
BioShock.
Oh, okay, BioShock. Yeah, it's a good game.
Another game I haven't played. I have not played the best games of all time. I tell you what.
No,
I wonder how
you've
many in the
not.
top 10 I've played. That'll be interesting.
It will be interesting to see.
Yes.
What a great game. Next
Great
Gen's
game.
challenge. You should play this.
Well, you make me. Let's see. Let's see if the theme lends itself to it. So I don't have to play an indie game instead.
Yeah, it's true.
I'd like to do actually I was talking about this with my brother too. Another backlog ballot would be fun. Where everybody votes on.
Oh yeah. I like that
everybody
one.
lists.
Yeah, the backlog ballot. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun.
The only thing is you're not generally gonna get weird, like the weird random picks you might get from being paired with a specific person. It's gonna generally standardize out to like the top names. The Zelda or whatever big name there. But
BioShock.
BioShock.
Yeah.
Or number 17, The Last of Us.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So there you go. The Last of Us is here.
It did.
I kind of felt like it would be higher because people suckle on its teeth so much.
They do. They tend to. I think it's maybe a little. I think it a little too soon. Not like that game's been out almost 10 years now. I think sometimes people maybe put a little too high on a pedestal, but like the fact remains, it is still it's a very well made game. Very well made game. In a lot of different ways. I remember some people like poo-pooed the gameplay at one point. No, they're wrong. It might not be your cup of tea in terms of a gameplay loop, and I understand that, but like it's deeper than it could be, but not so deep that you feel like the mechanics are as deep as it needs to be. I guess is what I want to say. There's not an overly large amount of complexity to the crafting. And I think that's fine. You don't need to have more complexity than there is. Because what you have is perfect for what kind of a game it is. So I think the encouraging stealth, sometimes stealth is like completely necessary at times to get your way through it, but relying on gunfights, on your skills in those, still really useful. You always feel like you're on your back legs, though. It does a really good job of making you feel helpless at times. It does a good job of that, which I think is great. So yeah, I mean, and one of the best video game stories probably ever. So
I've heard.
Yeah.
I'd love to play it sometime.
Yeah.
Number 16, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt.
Oh, okay.
I also would love to play this game.
Yeah, I would love to play this game. It's been a hot minute since I've been watching any of it, so I need to get back to it. But I finally started watching The Witcher, the show.
Yeah.
It's so freaking good. It's so good.
That too.
Yeah, but Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Yeah, my friend Josh's favorite game of all time. So, yeah.
Number 15, Alec, is Halo 2.
Interesting. Okay.
Get dicked down, Halo. Number 32 was Halo Combat Evolved. Number 15 here, Halo 2.
Number 15.
Can Halo 3
Burger
find
King
its
foot
way
lettuce.
into? Could we get the whole trilogy in there?
Maybe. Well, why did they put Halo? Maybe did they say why they put this above the original? But I will say the campaign in this one, there was stuff they did in the campaign in this game that it was pretty, not necessarily revolutionary, but it was wild that they were able to hide what they did in the campaign of Halo 2. So
few games had more of a build up prior to the release than Halo 2, and even fewer managed to live up to them in the way that Halo 2 did.
Impact.
Master Chief taking the fight with the Covenant to Earth was epic, action-packed, and visually stunning on the original Xbox. Sure, the campaign didn't so much end as much as stopped, but the shocking reveal of the playable Arbiter and the story that mirrored the Chiefs was a twist no one saw coming. Furthermore, and perhaps even more importantly, Halo 2 was the killer app for Xbox Live. It brought the party system and matchmaking hopper concept to consoles, instantly making every other online console game look archaic in its infrastructure by comparison. Of course, it helped that the multiplayer gameplay was, well, legendary.
Bum, 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 bum. They had freaking Hoobastank and 3 Days Grace, right? No, Breaking Benjamin wrote songs for that freaking game. Yeah, Halo 2. So we'll say playing as Arbiter was so secret. Like no one, basically, you wouldn't even ever known that you would play as Arbiter until the game came out. They were so good at hiding that. It was Bungie, man. Bungie's really good at hiding stuff. I don't know how they do it, but they still do it. They're still doing it. Like Destiny still does it. Still hides stuff. It's great. So
we're getting down to it. Number 14, Castlevania Symphony of the Day. I can't believe they went with the day version.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful game. Legendary game. Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I'd love to play it sometime.
It's a good one. You would like it.
I think so. Yeah. Honestly, no, all these games I would love to play. I'm just not a gamer.
I'm just not a freaking gamer,
Number 13 is Hades.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
best game of all time.
It's great. It's kind of crazy. It might be a little too soon to say that, but yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, it's extremely well polished, extremely well designed. I mean,
is it that much better than Tetris, though? Come on, guys.
Yes.
Is it that much better than Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man?
Freaking Pac-Man.
I mean, come on. Is it that much better than Super Mario Bros?
Bro.
It's way better than Final Fantasy VII, though, I tell you what.
Yeah, geez. It's
85 spots.
85 spots higher than freaking, like, piece of trash.
Number 12 was Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay.
It's good. I mean, it's great.
I just have no feelings about this game, really.
I love the game, honestly. I played it online a lot. I never even played the story, which I've heard is great.
The story, that's the only part of it I know. I don't even know anything about the online. The story is very good. I will give it that. The story is like surprisingly quite good.
And then I was huge into for a while. I was huge into the GTA RP stuff, the whole role play.
Really? Oh, okay. I didn't even know that's a whole world I don't even know anything about.
I love that stuff. That I would have loved to be. I wish I could be part of that kind of stuff. I love the role playing and making up stories within it. And it's a really well done mod to do all that too. There's so many just actions you can do, and you can literally just you can grab people. There's full on different careers, especially the police officer careers in GTA RP. It's they take it really seriously. They actually have you can do the whole dispatch and read off license plates. All this is a huge.
Jeez, man, that's crazy. Whole world. I don't even know anything about that. That's wild.
Wild when you get into it.
Yeah.
And it is the 12th best game of all time.
No, supposedly. Yeah.
Number 11, Super Mario Bros. 3. Just out of the top 10.
Just out of the top 10? Wow, that's rough. That's rough. Poor Mario 3.
Will Mario be in the top 10? Has to be.
Mario World has got to be in here. If you're gonna keep Mario 3 out, you got to put Mario World in.
Was there any 3D Marios?
Did Odyssey show up?
Odyssey didn't show up. Did Galaxy show up?
Did Galaxy? I think Galaxy showed up earlier, didn't it? Or Mario 64 did?
I don't think so. I don't think either of them did. I don't think any 3D Marios yet. So maybe
64 or Odyssey better show up in here.
There's no way 64 can justifiably be that high on this list.
That's true. It's very true.
I don't think Odyssey either. I think it should be Galaxy 2.
And I disagree. Galaxy 2, I will give you that. Odyssey should be up here though, I think. Odyssey's polish, man.
But Galaxy's polish. I mean,
yeah, Galaxy 2's polish. Yeah, it's a pretty wonderful game.
But Super Mario Bros. 3, it's great. It's like probably the best of what 2D Mario has to offer, right?
Yeah, I go back and forth between it and World. I think a lot of times I prefer. I've become weirdly petty about World recently, and I don't know what it is. I think it's because I hate the way Mario looks in that game. there's like a weird things just look odd in that game for some reason to me.
Well, it's interesting because now everything is through the lens of like I spent so much time in like Mario Maker territory, so now it's like everything is through that because there's like Mario. You can have the Mario Bros. Style, Mario Bros. 3 style, and the Mario World style, and the new Super Mario style all in that game. So it's like, it's so interesting because everything I view through that now. But yeah, Mario Bros. 3. I mean, it's iconic. It's iconic. All right, we're now reached the top 10, baby.
Top 10.
You want to make any predictions?
Like I said, there's gonna be a Mario game in here. Gonna be Breath of the Wild's gonna show up. I don't really know about much of anything else. So,
over and under on Lego City Undercover making the top 10.
Over under, it's definitely not coming in. I'm sorry to say. What's a game that I don't know. I'm trying to think of like any other big name sort of releases that didn't make it on in here yet. I'm just sort of like looking up at my shelf to see if there's anything that's like obvious that should show up, but I don't know. We're about to find out, I guess.
Let's find out. Let's see how many of these games I've played.
All right.
Number 10, Disco Elysium. The 10th best game of all time.
What the hell? What? I mean, I've heard good stuff about that game, but like 10th best game ever made?
I feel like offended by this somehow. I feel like
Didn't that game like just came out last year?
Yeah, you know what this gives me? This gives me the vibe that they think they're better than me. They put Disco Elysium at number 10. That's just all I'll say.
Yeah, it kind of does feel that way.
Pretentious number 10.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's like, oh, this isn't your standard top 10. Watch out, we got Disco Elysium number 10. We really appreciate the games on another level. This indie game is the 10th best game of all time. Come on.
You sure? Are you sure about that?
I haven't played it, but come on, guys. That much better than Tetris?
Yeah, that much better than Chrono Trigger?
That much better than Minecraft?
That much better than Final Fantasy 7?
Come on, guys. Simply put, there's nothing else quite like Disco Elysium or Dick, like I said.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like Dick. Yeah.
He says a lot of stuff about it, and then he says, gorgeously designed isometric RPG that makes you think at every turn of its richly detailed streets. Disco Elysium is truly a unique experience and one that will surely live long in the memory of any who have for many years to come.
Okay.
God bless.
It's a game I've wanted to play it, but that's quite a bold statement right there.
Simon Cardy. All right. Fuck you, guy. Fuck you.
Wow.
Do you think you're better than me?
You can't spell ignorant without IGN.
I feel you. Feel you on that one. Number 9, Half-Life 2.
Okay, you knew it had to show up eventually.
I don't know if this is the one I played or if I played the original Half-Life. Which ones are they all on the orange box?
No, only 2 episode.
So I played 2 then.
I made it about halfway through 2 during a Gents challenge. The reason I knew I made it about halfway is because I was talking to my brother at the time because he saw I was playing it, so he like called me on Xbox and was like, "Hey, like, how far are you in that?" And I was like explaining. He's like, "Okay, you're right about the halfway point." And I was like, "I am not beating this before the end of the Gents challenge." So then I just didn't play it after that, which is too bad because like I was having a wonderful time with that game.
I so briefly played it when I was very young that I would probably just count it as not being played. So far, I haven't played the first 2 games in the top 10.
Yeah, I know. I have. I played Half-Life 2. It is actually as good as people make it sound. So I will say that it's quite.
Half-Life 3 when?
Never, probably.
After Half-Life Alyx freaking changed the game and it was the 26th best game of all time.
Half-Life Alyx 2.
Yeah. When Half-Life Alyx 3.
Yeah, they don't know how to count to 3. They can't count to 3.
They'll make a new thing.
The freaking Dota 2, Portal 2, Left 4 Dead 2, Team Fortress 2, Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 2.
They can't keep getting away with it. Okay, so have you played Disco Elysium though?
No. Right. I know almost nothing about that game other than it was
really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you made a point. You know,
number
can't argue
8 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
The 8th best game.
My dad would probably say that. Yeah.
I haven't played this one either.
Yeah.
God.
Me either. Wow. There's so many.
So many of the best of the best we've ever seen.
I know.
Okay. Fair enough. Number 7 is Super Mario 64.
Is it really? Is it really? That's wild. Wait. Odyssey didn't show up on this list?
Get the fuck out of here, IGN. What are you talking about? You're not even listening to your own metrics. Are you seriously telling me that no game has surpassed Super Mario 64? And you're not taking into account impact when you put Super Mario 64 at number 7 on the list?
Yeah, as impact, it should absolutely be here. But
tell me, how about them speedrunners, huh? I guess so.
How about those blindfolded runs? Am I right?
You see that one video with the fake blindfolded run?
The fake, is what a scandal.
I was there for it.
I was here.
Yeah, next is gonna be Guitar Hero 3 then.
The guitar, Warriors of Rock, or no, Legends of Rock. Warriors of Rock was 6.
Friggin' Dragon Force.
Yeah, friggin'
that guy from Guns N' Roses
on the cover.
Yeah. So Super Mario 64, I disagree, but
oh come on, that game is
yeah. But
pretty
can you tell me based
charming.
On those metrics that this should be
charming as hell?
I would say. Huh? Can you tell me based on these metrics?
Based on their metrics, I guess impact of when it came out, because they said impact, like overall impact wasn't there, but like how big the game was when it came out, which that to me is like.
How do you have that as a factor, and then also it could just be surpassed by other games?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Well, here's the thing: Nintendo had full confidence in Mario 64 to sell the N64. That I think that was like it was like that and Pilot Wings 64 were the only 2 games at launch. I think something like that.
Mm-hmm. But look, I put every 3D Mario except for 3D Land above this. I would put them all before putting Super Mario 64.
Having played Sunshine again recently, I would still put 64 above it for the simple reason
of the pachinko machine.
Blue coins are awful. Blue coins are awful.
Look, it is not. I mean, yeah, if you're looking at polish and overall quality, yeah. But I mean, I still prefer the game. But if you look at Mario Galaxy, Galaxy 2, 3D World, Odyssey, all overall games, I would put over Mario 64. But
I think I probably would too. Because 3D World is like still like that's
what
like.
Do I know? I've only played them.
I've only played them. I don't have a professional opinion. What do we know? We're just a couple of schmucks on the internet.
I'm not. So leave the top 100s to the professionals.
All right.
Number 6, Mass Effect 2. Boom. Got him. I love Mass
Okay.
Effect 2. Honestly, I think it's
I
genuinely.
I just don't really have any feelings towards the series. Like
No, I'm telling you, you need to play this
my
series.
I know.
As a
Okay.
sci-fi nerd, how have you not played?
I
You,
don't
you
know.
can
I
spend so
don't
much
know.
time just reading through the freaking lore, and they're reading it off like it's a freaking audiobook, and it's like the crustaceans first landed on this planet Zarkon in the year 1300.
I will say the music of this
And
game
the
is
Citadel,
freaking
I
phenomenal.
love the Citadel.
I'm Commander Shepard.
I'm Commander Shepard also.
This is my favorite place on the Citadel or whatever.
Yeah. But I love Mass Effect 2. I really wanted to go through all the Mass Effects with the Legendary Edition and everything, because I
restore Miranda's butt shot, please.
Yeah.
What the heck is that all about? Oh, you getting rid of that? Oh, because the game's different playstyle. It's sexist. It's like screw that. Women like looking at butts too. Don't pretend you don't.
But Mass Effect 2 is brilliant. It's brilliant. I get you.
Yeah. That's what people say.
They say.
Yeah.
So far I've played two.
I played two of these. Yeah.
Two of these. Mario 64 and Mass Effect 2.
Let's see. I did Half-Life 2, Mario 64. What was the
Red Dead Redemption 2?
I haven't played it. I just watched my dad play it, so I haven't played it.
So you have 2 as well?
Yeah.
All right. Number 5, Super Metroid.
Okay, I played this game.
I've yet to play Super Metroid, actually.
I've never beaten it, but I have played it, so.
That's wild. But of course I've heard the praises.
Magnificent game. This is a game that does stand the test of time. Absolutely playable today. That's how good it is. It controls super well. It's oh man, what a great game. Music's really great. Absolute masterclass in video game minimalism.
Yeah.
Does a wonderful game.
I believe it.
Yeah. Definitely want to go back and beat that at some point. I really should. I really owe it to myself to beat that game.
Number 4, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Okay. Link to the Past is a pretty solid game.
Solid game that I've yet to play.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw.
I know, right?
It's not very long. I think you should. I actually did randomizer of this. This is the very first randomizer I did was a Link to the Past one. That's a good game. Link to the Past is a really good game too. I quite
pretty good.
Very
nostalgic. The 4th best ever.
I'm very nostalgic for this game. So I grew up watching my brothers play it. So it's very very near and dear to me. So. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it is an excellently made game. Really, really good design, really great music. It looks good still to this day. Still very playable today. I think there are some criticisms people have, and I say criticisms people have. I look straight in camera at Egoraptor for the freaking sequelitis on Ocarina of Time. That you praise Ocarina of Time for certain things you praise Link to the Past for doing certain things that you then go back straight around and criticize Ocarina of Time for doing the same thing. Which I think one of them is like there aren't interesting weapons or whatever, or there's no interesting items or something in Ocarina of Time's dungeons. Like the dungeon item, but it's like in Link to the Past, like half the dungeon items are like different tunics and shields. Like that's not interesting. That doesn't affect the gameplay. Whereas like it does something interesting with like the Megaton hammer or what's in the freaking the long shot, which is like it's just a longer hook shot. And it's like but you can go way further. It's really cool. Or like the hover boots. Affecting the way you move around the environment in that temple and elsewhere in the future of the game. A lot of interesting stuff there. Link to the Past is like half of them are tunics. There's like tunic upgrades. Like cool. Then they hide a key item that they don't tell you about unless you go looking for it that you need absolutely need to fight the last dungeon boss, not like the final boss of the game, but like the 8th dungeon of the Dark World, you have to have this item that the game doesn't tell you about specifically in like a hidden corner of the map that unless you were doing a lot of exploring, you'd never go to. I don't think that's good game design. I'm sorry. So, like but other than that, like the past is pretty much a perfect game. So,
all right, number 3 is Portal 2.
Hey, wow, number 3. Wow,
third best game of all time.
That's crazy. I mean, I thought it was really good. That's fascinating to me that they put it up this high.
Yeah.
Wow,
leagues above Portal.
Wow,
leagues above it.
That's interesting. Huh.
So they said Portal undoubtedly came out of nowhere and shattered the mold, but Portal 2 took that raw and incredible concept and managed to shape it into a more polished and impressive package. It cranked the dials up on just about everything that made the original so special. The mind-bending puzzles, the surprisingly dark story, and the ridiculous humor that balanced it out.
Extremely over-the-top humor. Very, very witty and goofy and stupid humor. It's great. What a great game.
That's 2 puzzle games better than Tetris.
Tetris, yeah.
Unbelievable.
But both basically the same games.
Number 2 is Super Mario World.
So Mario Odyssey isn't on this list? I don't believe that.
You don't believe it. You better believe it. Because number 1 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild,
That's
baby.
insane that Mario Odyssey is not on this list. That's ridiculous.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Best game of all time.
That is ridiculous. Well, that's not ridiculous. I agree with that.
Do you agree it's the best game of all time? I mean, I love it.
I would probably say so. Yeah.
Can it be the best game of all time if your weapons are breaking so gosh dang much?
Yeah, because there's a point to it. That the point
I can't even
is
smack a tree without breaking on me. These weapons.
Yeah, well, that's the point is to get you to use other things.
Use your hands.
Use your hands,
brain,
boy. Use your hands,
idiot.
boy. Use your brain, idiot.
You don't have to smack everything.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it before. Breath of the Wild came out at a perfect time in my life. Like, it's just so personally to me, it's a very important game. But like, I think in addition to that, it's just like everything I could ever dream and hope for in a Zelda game is like there. I think I will agree that like dungeons do need to be improved for the next game. It's not perfect by any means, but I don't think any of these games is like absolutely 100% perfect, except for maybe Tetris.
Number what on the list again? 27, 30? I don't know.
It's because you're basically
34?
just doing you're just doing the same thing over and over again. You're just hitting blocks on the ground. You know?
Can't keep my attention, that's for sure.
Oh, I just bought a little plush Korok too, or a little plush Korok. It's actually a pillow. It's about like the size of a Korok. So,
so what's your prediction with Breath of the Wild 2? Do you see it being like Portal 2 and surpassing Breath of the Wild, number 1 and number 2 best games of all time? Or do you think it'll be comparable, or do you think it'll be like, way far down the list in comparison to Breath of the Wild?
I really hope it doesn't become the way down the list. I think if they keep the foundation the same, they iterate and polish and improve, I don't see how the game could be worse. You know?
Right. I think there's something about it at the time. There's such an impact of like being thrust into this world. So if they're using the same world, it could not be as special in that way. But I mean, we're taking to the sky, baby. What does it have in store for us?
I'm hoping with some of the reasons behind the delay also of this game, give us a Switch 2, give us a Switch Pro. The Switch has been out for 5 years and it was already kind of outdated technology at that time. Give us something, man. You gotta really pump all your resources into making Zelda like the best looking Switch game like ever. You know, it's like because already Breath of the Wild only runs at 900p or something like that. It's not running at a full 1080, and you wouldn't necessarily know it because it's masked very well by the art style. The art style is just gorgeous, and it kind of hides the fact that it's not like the peakest tippest of the top resolution. But give us some better hardware, man. That's all. I think that's all anyone really wants at this point is just some slightly better hardware.
It makes me sad that some people just didn't get as much out of this as Breath of the Wild as other people did.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it really is it was super special to me when I was playing it.
Extremely special. Still is to me.
It's just a lovely world to immerse yourself into. And I mean, when we did our top 10 or our best games of the decade list, we both are like number 3, number 2, or number 1, top 3 for both of us.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's hard to really. It's hard to discount its impact. It's like games are all like pushing towards an open world idea. I mean, to a degree, they already kind of were. But like this game did it in a way that was like it wasn't trying to copy what all the other ones were doing. It did its own thing. It set its own mark in terms of its scope and loneliness. And I think like the isolation and like there are people out in the world, but like really making you the survival and the exploration and the solitariness of a vast majority of that game, I think kind of gives it this really dour yet beautiful vibe. It's so specific. And it's something that like in their own ways, like games like Hecky, we were talking about, like I mentioned I don't remember if it was in this video or if it was off camera, but again, Genshin Impact. Remember when that game was first announced, everyone was like flipping out because it was like a Breath of the Wild clone. Yeah. Turns out that game is like not really all that much like Breath of the Wild, but because it's a gacha game, but I can see just the visual style. It's a lot more anime focused, but the visual style in world style are clearly there is inspiration from Breath of the Wild, very apparent there still. So
it really is a beautiful experience, and I can't wait for Sonic Frontiers to come in and wreck it.
Just sweep it all away, Let's sweep it away, freaking Sonic.
Or the Sonic Frontiers, that's legit Breath of the Wild, straight up Breath of the Wild vibes. Yeah,
I mean, well, everyone was saying that with what, like Kirby and the Forgotten, which is dumb because which is not at all. It's more like
But Sonic Frontiers literally had like a shot. It was like a shot-for-shot remake of Breath of the Wild. They were doing.
Yeah, Sonic comes out of the cave.
Where he's like looking, and it's like the same like.
Yeah.
You seeing that draw distance? I'm like.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I want it to be like not only is it like Breath of the Wild, but it is as good as Breath of the Wild. Sonic Frontiers is breaking.
Would that be incredible? They actually made a Sonic game that good.
Yeah, like excellent.
Yeah,
excellent. Good.
They've never made a Sonic game that good.
Yeah,
freaking Sonic Generations is like as close as they could to getting like as good as a Sonic game can ever be.
I'm just imagining. I still can't wrap my head around that because it's like you're gonna run that whole map, right? You're the fastest thing alive. You're gonna run that map real quick.
I hope so. Be better.
And so you need a super big world. You need like 10 times the size of the Breath of the Wild's map just to account for the speed. You know? You gotta run that thing in 5 seconds. Oh, man. Oh, okay, I kind of want that. I kind of want like an excellent game, but I kind of also want like, give me Sonic Adventure 2 style gameplay in an open world.
There's no Sonic game on this list.
Like just full on junk.
No top 100. Yeah, no Sonic. Yeah. Does he belong in the cadre of greatest games of all time? Apparently not.
Some people might say that about Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or something, right? But I don't know. I can't say for myself.
So I just think Final Fantasy is the
maybe Sonic Riders should crack the top 100. Maybe.
just to see what people think. It's like everyone's basically saying Breath of the Wild's overrated, and I get it. It's probably going to be for a long time. It's probably going to be overrated for a very long time. You know, it's like that's what everybody says about Tom Brady too, but he's the GOAT. So,
Mm-hmm.
And with that, a sports reference.
Someone said, you guys remember how Animal Crossing New Horizons is a better video game than Super Mario Galaxy? Yeah, well, yeah. Where was the Galaxy in this list?
Yeah, where's Galaxy 1 and 2? Where's Galaxy 2? IGN gave Galaxy 2 a 10 out of 10. I remember this. I remember being so freaking hyped for Galaxy 2 when I saw that review.
And they said, I think this list has a pretty strong recency bias.
Very strong recency bias.
80s, Disco Elysium, Red Dead 2. Or too recent debate top 40 even. I don't think a game can truly come into its own critical space objectively in such a short time. Yeah, it's tough, but obviously people are going to comment on the number one game because it's like the headline thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to say one game is the best game of all time, you know. But
I know, yeah, it is sort of hard.
Unless you put Tetris in there, then there's no argument.
A lot of it's down to subjectivity anyway, as well. You know, you could argue. I mean, obviously, all of this is subjective because like a freaking Final Fantasy 13 is like one of my favorite games of all time, and like no one's ever gonna speak highly about that game.
No one's brave enough to do it, Alec.
No one's brave enough except me. I'll come out here and say,
put it in the top 100.
I'll come out and I'll come out and say it. You know, Final Fantasy 6 is crap, and Final Fantasy 13 is a work of art. You know,
I couldn't help but notice that Just Dance 2022 is missing from the list as well.
It's true. What the heck is up with that, huh?
Actually, I mean, legitimately, if you're talking about top 100 games of all time, Rhythm Heaven Fever needs to be in there. Bitch.
Freaking Rhythm Heaven Fever.
All right, that's it. That's IGN's top 100 video games of all time. All right.
I mean, it's a weird list. It's a weird list. I'm not gonna lie. There's a weird amount of recency bias on here. I will say
recency bias.
Recency bias, and then like bizarre reasons for like keeping things like low, and then also putting other things high.
Playing a little fast and loose with their own metrics. Yeah. GoldenEye 007 77 compared to Final Fantasy 7 at 98, and then Super Mario 64 at 7.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Nah.
Yeah,
Tetris
I mean that's
not
what I mean.
number one.
No freaking Mario Odyssey. No Mario Odyssey is not even on this list. That was
Mario Galaxies are not on this list. Also.
Yeah. Like Odyssey was like a Game of the Year contender along with Breath of the Wild. Both
Pokemon
those games were
Yellow
like cherished.
as the sole Pokemon representative. I mean, they're just suspect decisions.
Yeah, very weird.
We're gonna be watching IGN very closely.
Yeah, we're gonna be watching them very closely here on out. Very very sus. You know,
sussy little Bacchus.
They might be sus.
The likes of Samuel Claiborne, Tom Marks, and
emergency meeting. I call an emergency meeting right now.
Where the hell is Among Us?
Yeah, where's Amogus on this? Where's Amogus? I don't know.
Top 5 is like Fortnite, Among Us.
Freaking Fortnite. Where's Fall Guys?
Fall Guys. Man, the Fall Guys is really falling off, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Last time this was number 5 on the top 100 list. Jeez, crazy how things change. Where's Gang Beasts?
Where's Human Fall Flat? Where's freaking Star Fox Zero? Am I right? You know,
no Star Fox love.
No Star Fox love on this list.
No Star Fox at all.
Yeah, I mean the only one that we could even feasibly put on here would be 64 because otherwise there would be like actual rioting in the streets if you put any of the other ones on the tablet.
What the fuck is Viva Pinata?
Recent riots broke out due to Star Fox Adventures showing up on this.
Adventures?
Star Fox Command showed up on IGN's top 100 list.
That would be an issue. Star Fox Assault is my favorite, but even
Star
then,
Fox Assault is wonderful.
Even then, I feel like it's not there. It's
no.
It's like especially when you go on foot, it's a little bit of jank.
It is a little jank, but like but a lot of the game uses the on-foot sequences.
Yeah,
but
I mean that's the
it's still really good.
Like, if that's on the list, then Mario Sunshine would be on the list because Mario Sunshine is jank, but a lot of fun.
There's freaking Wind Waker. No Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
Yeah, no Wind Waker.
Fuck IGN, huh?
Yeah, well,
fuck these guys.
I'm not. I'm probably like middle ground for me is where Wind Waker is, but that's also me.
Number 50. I'll take number 50.
I'll take it. Number
50 is the best game of all time.
Yeah. Where the heck was freaking Tales of Symphonia? What I really want to know.
What the fuck? Where's Paper Mario?
Yeah, where's Paper Mario 1? Where's where's Paper
Thousand Year Door?
Yeah, why is that not on there? What's not freaking?
These bitches don't know shit. At least put Bug Fables on there. Give me something.
Bug
Fables number 10.
At least put Kid Icarus Uprising on there.
Wii Sports Resort.
Where the heck is Sonic the Hedgehog 2006?
Rock Band.
Rock Band.
Actually, talk about like lightning in a bottle, huh?
Eternal Sonata.
Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Legitimately like great cultural impact, but like no one plays them now. Except for like a niche, like maybe a niche competitive community. Like
they keep trying to bring them back too, and they keep failing.
And it's just amazing to me because it's like actually legitimately great stuff.
Yeah,
like, legitimately changed the game, and people would have a lot of fun. Come together and do a little rock band session. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, that was it. We talked all about, as you may have so I don't even think we addressed at the beginning of the episode that this whole episode we did without Tiger, our pal for the first one, just couldn't make it for the poll recording session this time, so we decided to just push on. We need to get through with it and just be done with it in our lives. So but yeah, there you have it.
Yeah, I'd like to do more things. I have other ideas, like more different like article kind of things we could respond to like this. Would be fun.
It's kind of fun because it's like we don't. It's kind of low. Like I'm just speaking frankly, it's kind of like low pressure. Like we can just sort of react to it and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of nice. It's very podcasty in a way, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we like that. It'll be out when it's out. And so
yeah. So hit the link in the description if you want to leave any feedback for us on anything we talked about today. Also click the links for our social media and also hit the notification bell and subscribe button and the like.
Did we make any trash takes? What do you think? What did we say? You feel like Mario Odyssey should be on this list? Do you feel like it shouldn't be on this list? Do you feel like
no
one
cares about Mario Odyssey? I'm sorry. I love Mario Odyssey, but no one's caring about that right now because we see Mario 64 number 7 and Tetris at number 26, and everything is chaos at that point.
Chaos. Where's Stranger of Paradise? That's what I want to know. Where's that?
It's hard to say. We'll have to get the updated list next year.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
That's for Stranger in Paradise is going to be number.
Where's the Jackbox 15? Party Pack 5?
Specifically 5.
It should be on there.
Bang for your buck. That was what I said.
Yeah, I wanted to pick like 3. The Jackbox Party Pack 3 is the 8th best game of all time. It's like, wow, this perfectly captured the beauty of the first.
Yeah, where's Mario Party 2? Best party game ever made.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What video would I recommend our viewers to watch next?
Yeah, Zach. What video would you recommend people watch next?
Go watch our favorite games of the decade video.
Yeah, go check it out. It was a good.
Not this decade, the other one.
The other one. 2010 to 2020.
You're right.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care. Godspeed.
Be safe out there, guys.
Spider-Man.
Mask up.